My wife abandoned our kids for a cheap motel romance, then told me to be happy for her. So I let the judge hear everything. You ever look at someone and wonder if you ever really knew them? That was me, standing in the kitchen that still smelled like the dinner I made, alone, watching the woman I built my whole life around shrug her shoulders like none of it meant anything. I already gave you 17 years, she said. Just be grateful. Grateful? I had to hold on to the counter to keep from flipping the whole damn table. Michelle and we go way back. High school sweethearts. Prom, first kiss, first apartment, first everything. We didn't have much, but we had each other, or so I thought. We got married young, me at 21, her barely 20. Everyone said we were stupid, that it wouldn't last. I swore they were wrong. That love was enough. We had Liam when I was 23. Then Jonah 2 years later. 2 wild, loud, amazing boys. I worked construction to keep us afloat, breaking my back while she stayed home with them. I never complained. Hell, I was proud. We were doing it, living the dream, right? But about 6 months ago, Michelle started changing. It started small, less talking, more screen time, saying she was tired all the time, even when the boys were with my mom for the weekend. Then came the "I need space" line. Space? In our tiny-ass house with bills piled on the fridge? I didn't get suspicious at first. I thought maybe she was just overwhelmed. I tried harder. I made dinner more, took the boys out to give her time to rest, got her flowers on a random Tuesday. But nothing worked. She pulled further away. And I kept telling myself, it's just a phase. Then I saw the credit card bill. Almost $400 at a hotel, $600 at some spa, Uber charges from a city an hour away. And I'm sitting here wondering how the hell we're gonna pay for Liam's braces, and she's out sipping champagne in robes. When I asked her about it, she rolled her eyes and said, "Are you seriously stalking me like I'm a child?" No, I wasn't. But maybe I should have been. I started checking more. Her location history, the receipts, even her texts. And yeah, I found him. Brandon. Real estate guru with frosted tips and a podcast about hustling or some crap. He looked like he'd sell a pyramid scheme to a pyramid. Turns out they'd been hanging out for over a year. A damn year. While I was patching drywall and folding laundry, she was out playing house with Brandon. I confronted her, had everything printed out in a folder like I was presenting a damn project. And she just stood there, arms crossed like I was boring her. Then she said it. I already gave you 17 years. Just be grateful. And that was it. She grabbed her purse and left. No tears, no sorry, just gone. But I wasn't broken. No, not even close. That's when I made my move. So there I was, left in our worn-down kitchen, folder of receipts in one hand and 17 years of my life crumpling in the other. The boys were at my sister's for the weekend. Thank God. They didn't see the blow-up. Didn't hear their mom tell me I was basically a placeholder until Brandon the walking self-help quote came along. I sat there for a while, not crying. I don't think I had it in me to cry. I just stared at the wall. Ran through every memory like flipping through a burning photo album. First time she held Liam, our honeymoon road trip to Nashville. That night we danced barefoot in the living room while the kids slept. All that love, gone like it was never real. But the more I sat, the clearer things got. Michelle didn't just cheat, she didn't just lie. She abandoned us. Me, Liam, Jonah. She took our savings, our peace, our home. And worst of all, she did it like it was nothing, like we were an old shirt she was done with. So I got up, took a breath, and I started planning. See, Michelle had always underestimated me. Called me too nice, too quiet, said I never had any fire. Well, guess what? Turns out betrayal is a hell of a lighter. First, I froze the joint bank account, pulled what little was left into a separate one just for the boys and me. Then I called the credit card company and flagged all the recent charges, told them about the fraud, reported Brandon's little spa days and dinners as unauthorized, because they were. Next, I found a lawyer, not some stuffy suit. I found a woman who hated cheaters. She read through everything I'd collected and said, "We're gonna bury her." Then came the house I bought with my own 2 hands. Her name wasn't even on the deed. She assumed she could just waltz back in whenever. Nah. I changed the locks, put cameras up, left her a voicemail, "You don't live here anymore. Try it, and I'll call the cops." She didn't reply. But Brandon did. He DM'd me on Instagram of all places, flexing in some overpriced hoodie like he was doing me a favor. Said you should be thanking me for taking her off your hands. So I screenshot everything. Every message. Every stupid filtered selfie. Then I called one of Brandon's investors I found on LinkedIn, just slid the screenshots into their inbox. Petty? Maybe? Necessary? Hell yes. But the real kicker, the thing that made me feel alive again, was watching her face drop when she realized I wasn't begging for her back. No tears, no screaming, just cold, calculated silence. Because if Michelle was gonna burn our life down, I figured I'd hand her the match and light my own damn torch. It didn't take long. 3 days after I changed the locks, I got a text. Michelle, we need to talk. The boys miss me. Cute. She didn't mention the $7K she siphoned from our joint account or the hotel suite she shared with Brandon while claiming she was on a business trip. I didn't respond. Not out of pain. Just strategy. I was done letting her control the narrative. The more silence I gave, the more frantic she got. By day 5, she was calling my mom. My mom, who used to defend her like she birthed her. Even she sounded disgusted when she told me, she said you're brainwashing the kids, right? As if my 9-year-old needs coaching to know his mom ditched him for a guy who uses cologne samples as personality. But here's the part that really put gasoline on the fire. I had Liam's school recital. First one he'd agreed to do since his anxiety started acting up. Huge deal. He'd been practicing in the mirror every night. And guess who shows up, 10 minutes late, wearing a low-cut dress and Brandon's blazer like some twisted sitcom punchline? Yeah, Michelle. She slides into the row behind us like nothing happened, leans forward and whispers, "You didn't tell me this was happening." Real mature, Mike. I turned. Looked her right in the eyes. "Neither did you when you cleaned out the savings," I said flatly. "Funny how that works." She scoffed, flipped her hair and sat back with a smirk. But it twitched. She wasn't used to this version of me. Later, at the end of the recital, Liam ran up to me. Not her. Not even a glance her way. That crushed her more than anything I could have said. But the true moment? That came at dinner. I'd invited Michelle's parents. Yeah, I know. Wild move. But they'd been reaching out, telling me how ashamed they were of her. So I figured, let's make it a family event. We're all sitting at this long, awkward Olive Garden table. Classic, I know. And I slide a folder across to her. Michelle opens it. Inside, a draft of the custody agreement. Copies of the drained bank transactions. A letter from Liam's therapist detailing the emotional distress caused by her absence. And oh yeah, a receipt from the private investigator I'd hired. Yup. Turns out Brandon's not just a loser. He's married, with a baby on the way. Michelle's face went sheet white. Her dad looked like he might explode. And me? I sipped my Coke and said, I figured we'd all appreciate transparency. The whole restaurant went quiet. I swear even the breadsticks froze mid-basket. Michelle stood up and stormed out, but not before whispering, "You'll regret this." But I didn't. Not even a little, because karma didn't need a reminder. I was the reminder. By the time I got home from that dinner, Michelle had already sent me 11 texts all over the place. "You ambushed me in front of my parents, you POS. This is why I left you. You're cold and manipulative. Can we talk? I made a mistake." Ah, yes, the classic trifecta. Rage, gaslight, regret. I didn't respond. Again, but I did forward one of her messages to my lawyer, just for the file. A few days later, I got a DM on Instagram from a name I didn't recognize at first. Samantha, Brandon's wife. Her message? "Hey Mike, I think we should compare notes. Michelle and Brandon didn't just lie to you. I've got proof they planned the whole thing behind both our backs." Oh, hell yes. We ended up grabbing coffee. Samantha brought a folder of screenshots, credit card bills, and receipts. Hotel stays, dinners, even one weekend they claimed was a conference. Turns out it was a luxury Airbnb booked under Michelle's email, but with Brandon's business card. Samantha was livid, but calm. "We've got two narcissists playing house while blowing through our money," she said. I liked her immediately, so we made a plan. I gave her my PI's contact info. She gave me the go-ahead to notify Brandon's employer, since some of those hotel charges were on the company card. And Michelle? She was still spiraling. She showed up at the boys' school, claiming she forgot it was my custody week. School admin called me and kept her out of the building. That night, she sent me a picture of our family from 2 years ago. No caption, just vibes. I didn't reply. Instead, I mailed her a copy of the finalized custody petition. It included a clause about supervised visits, since she ditched them for almost 2 months. But here's where it really hit the fan. A week later, Brandon got fired. Samantha made sure of that. She also moved out, took the baby, and filed for divorce. Turns out, Brandon had lied to her about some debts too. Typical. Michelle? Homeless, jobless, no access to our joint accounts. I froze them the second she disappeared. She tried to move in with her parents, but after that Olive Garden disaster, they shut the door in her face. She's been couch surfing since. As for me, I sleep like a rock. I spend time with my kids, I hit the gym, I eat real meals, and I smile when I get random texts from Michelle saying, "Can we talk?" Because no, Michelle, we can't. It's been 9 months. 9 months since Michelle walked out like she was walking into a better life. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't break me at first. I used to look at that woman and see my whole damn world. My partner, my future, my everything. Now? I can't believe I ever made her my everything. The house feels different now. Calmer, warmer. Not because we changed anything big, same cheap blinds, same paint chipping on the banister, but because there's peace. And peace, I've learned, is louder than chaos. Liam sleeps better. No more night terrors. No more waking up crying, asking when she's coming home. Jonah still draws her sometimes, crayon scribbles with sad eyes and messy hair, but now he adds me beside her. Always taller, always smiling. We talk about her honestly. I never lie. I never trash her either. I just tell them, she loves you, but sometimes people love badly, and we deserve better. They're strong, my boys, way stronger than I was at their age. As for me, I've changed too. I started therapy. Turns out carrying 17 years of betrayal in your chest does something to your soul. But I'm working on it. One buried emotion at a time. I even went on a date. Just one. Coffee with a nurse I met at the gym. Nothing serious. But I laughed, genuinely, and that felt like a miracle. On Samantha? Yeah, we still talk. Not like that, though if this were a Netflix show you'd bet we'd be kissing in the rain by now. But more like survivors. Co-captains of a ship we didn't crash, but had to swim away from anyway. We call it our trauma club. 2 meetings, 0 dues, lifetime membership. Now Michelle, she still texts sometimes. Never anything straight, just blurry photos of our old life, or miss you messages she pretends are for the boys. She tried sending a letter last month, handwritten, full of memories, full of maybe we can start over. I didn't open it. I burned it in the backyard grill, same place we used to barbecue in summer, same spot I taught Liam how to flip a burger. I watched that letter curl and blacken, and I didn't feel rage, just release. Because sometimes the best closure is knowing you didn't let the worst version of someone drag you down with them. Now, every morning I wake up, pour my coffee, and kiss my sons on their sleepy heads. We've got a small life, but it's real. It's quiet, but it's ours. And I know this much. Michelle might have lit the match, but I built something better from the ashes. Comment below. Would you have stayed quiet? Or would you have made sure the judge knew everything? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life betrayals, emotional justice, and moments when the truth finally wins. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.